What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and Amazon has done what Amazon does by accidentally leaking information before Wizards of the Coast can publish it. I woke up randomly at 5:30 in the morning this morning and decided, hey, let's take a look, and lo and behold, Amazon has more information on Candlekeep Mysteries. I'm going to read through what we have there, provide you my speculation and my thoughts about what we're going to get. Maybe some of this will be further corroborated by the official Wizards of the Coast release later today, but we'll see. There also will likely potentially be a bunch of D&D Beyond videos about it, because there always seems to be. But before I jump into that, hey, if you like me staying up to date on all these news coverage and providing you news literally as fast as some people can find it, beating news outlets in some cases, consider subscribing to the channel. We just recently broke 65,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and my goal would be to hit 100,000 subscribers by my birthday in July and get myself a play button for my 35th birthday. Let's jump over to Amazon and take a look. We can currently see it's listed at $44.96, so a small 10% off. I'll also have a link to this in the description. It will be an affiliate link as well, so if you happen to want to pre-order it via this link, I'll benefit monetarily if you're kind enough to do so. And let's us read here. So we have an anthology of 17 mystery-themed adventures from the world's greatest role-playing game. We already know that's the front cover tagline. Candlekeep attracts scholars like a flame attracts moths. Historians, sages, and others who crave knowledge flock to this library fortress to peruse its vast collection of books, scribbled into which are the answers to the mysteries that bedevil them. Many of these books contain their own mysteries, each one a doorway to an adventure. Dare you cross that threshold. 17 mystery-themed D&D adventures, each tied to a book discovered in a famed library fortress of Candlekeep, Easy to run as a standalone mini-adventures or to drop into your home campaign. They span levels 1 to 16. Includes a full poster map of Candlekeep plus detailed descriptions of the various locations, characters, and creatures within it. Introduces a variety of D&D monsters, items, and NPCs. It's a collection of 17 short story standalone adventures. Each adventure begins with the discovery of a book. Each book is the key to a door behind which danger and glory await. These adventures can be run as one-shot games plugged into an existing Forgotten Realms campaign or adapted to another campaign setting. This book also includes a poster map of the library and its inhabitants. Okay. So what do we get from that we can take away? One, seems I was right, and is similar to Neverending Story / Page Master style. That's how they're framing this. Candlekeep is the framing reference. The 17 different adventures. You'll find a book, you'll read the book, do whatever you need to do with said book, and then you will go off on your adventure. It's levels 1 to 16, which is higher than most Wizards of the Coast adventures. Actually, I think higher than any of them except for Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which went up to 20. Even all the original campaign books like Tyranny of Dragons and Out of the Abyss, the ones written by other groups, ended at 15. This takes us to 16. So maybe as the tail end of 5e begins to come around, and I'm only saying that because I think 6th edition will be relaunched with the 50th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons in a couple years from now, maybe we'll start to see more higher level epic content. Okay. It's going to have Candlekeep stuff. So my anticipation is the first chapter will be like Candlekeep 101, similar to what we had with like Tales from the Yawning Portal. It'll describe Candlekeep, what it is, interesting things about it. It'll give us the NPCs. We'll have the nice map that'll show us all of that different stuff. And also, these levels 1 to 16 adventures, it doesn't seem like the first one will be level 1 and the last one will be level 16. That would be ideal if you could run each book, each story, and like level your characters up and just play this book by itself and goes from level 1 to 16. I don't think it's going to be written that way. I think that would be cool because that would give you another essential campaign, but they seem again to be standalone to drop in and drop out. No references to an all-female writing list, and I think that might have just been speculation on the N-World, folks, because remember, we first got this announcement in 2019 of this anthology book, and the only people confirmed to be writing on it at that point were Kate Welch, Marisha Ray, and Deborah Ann Wall. So there was just the only writers we knew attached to it at that point were 3 female writers. So I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be a variety of folks from the D&D community. I think you're probably going to have Chris Perkins, right? He's the lead narrative designer. Maybe you'll have other folks that are like, really high, big names, like I don't know, like your Jerry Holkins or your Matt Mercer. somebody like that. Pick a really popular D&D podcast that you like. Maybe they'll grab like the DM from that and have them be one of the writers, or other people that are big in the D&D community, maybe like a Joe Manganiello, maybe like a Luke Gygax. I don't know, right? But I assume each chapter is going to be written by somebody different, which is cool. Well, I say that that's cool. They also need to be, well written. Just because you're having 17 different voices write on it doesn't necessarily mean that's a good thing. If there's 17 different people who write really well, great. It also will give you an entirely different potential framing structure. Now, I don't know how things are going to go and how much leeway writers have when they write for Wizards of the Coast to like make it wholly your own, or do you need to fall within a certain, these are what Wizards want, so you need to do that. I don't know. But either way, 17 different voices in a book is pretty cool. So, what do I think we're going to get? Well, it says plugged into an existing Forgotten Realm campaign or adapted for other campaign settings. So, written like that makes me think this is not going to be what I had possibly originally speculated, where like this is an adventure set in Krynn, this is an adventure set in Ravenloft, this is an adventure set in Eberron. I don't think it's going to be written like that. I think these are going to be Forgotten Realms-based stories or agnostic, campaign setting agnostic stories. It's just a spooky story that you read, and it could be set in any location. Maybe you don't even need to change the names of the towns. Maybe some of them are Forgotten Realms specific, where they reference NPCs or locations that are tied specifically to the Forgotten Realms, and then you would need to change them. So that's something. I think it might not always be books, right? It might be like a book, or it might be you find a book and there's like, you know how we see in like movies and stuff where they have the book and you open it up and there's like a cutaway in the book and there's like a key. Maybe there'll be something like that, like a secret compartment within a book, or like a treasure map could be pretty cool. Again, they're all mystery based though, so I don't know. I mean, a treasure map, or maybe you have to search multiple books in Candlekeep to find like multiple pieces of like a story and piece them all together. And then once you do that, then you get onto the adventure. So it actually has a Candlekeep part of it, rather than just like, oh, hey, here's a book. Whoa, sucked into the book and I go on my adventure. Maybe some of them will have things you need to do in Candlekeep first, and that could be kind of fun. Like, we need to seek out the 4 pieces of the map in Candlekeep, and then we bring that together, and then takes us on our adventure from there. That would be pretty neat. What kind of stories do I think we're going to get? I don't know. Again, like I said, I think we're not doing separate campaigns, though I do think this could be the one where we get the references to Vistani. We heard from the D&D Diversity article that they were working on adjusting and working with cultural consultants for the reprint of Curse of Strahd, as well as some Vistani-based thing we were going to get in 2021. I was hopeful for a revival of a Ravenloft campaign setting. Now, while we might still get that in 2021, I'm going to say probably not, and that we can have an adventure or a story about the Vistani, or a story that involves the Vistani in some way. We know they traveled to the Forgotten Realms. That was kind of the whole framing reference for Curse of Strahd. The Vistani come, or they can go back, and that's the whole thing. You deal with the mists and whatnot for Curse of Strahd. So I think we might get a Vistani-based story. You could maybe do, I'm going to say, like, some of them might be completely original. Some of them I think might be like cleverly designed references to things. Like, we might very well get like a Scooby-Doo adventure, whether it takes place in a haunted mansion, or you have to take the mask off someone and it's like Professor Hyde White or something else like that. It's like a very much a Scooby-Doo adaptation. One might be cool if it was like a Sherlock Holmes, or there's the characters that represent those archetypes in these mystery adventures. Like, maybe one takes place on a train and you've got like a Murder on the Orient Express style thing. Maybe you do have one where you meet someone who is basically a Sherlock Holmes or a Watson. Obviously the name would be changed, but something like that, or the Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew. Typical mystery style things, right? I got to imagine one's going to involve you going into like a very noir detective agency, that kind of a thing. I don't know, right? There's 17 adventures, but if I was going to write one myself, I would probably make it, and this is just me, right? I would probably make it a little on the tropey side because it's fun. People think of mystery. I'm sure when you heard that it was a mystery themed campaign, your mind immediately went to something, and like that's the quintessential mystery to you. And that's why somebody should write, in my mind, something that's not tropey without being too tropey, because it'll hit what everybody imagines a mystery adventure would be. But again, they're all books too, so that could cover things from like it could be storybooks, it could be nursery rhymes, children's tales, short stories, folk tales. Could be one. What would be interesting is one is almost like an encyclopedia, maybe like an Encyclopedia Demonica book, and then there's an adventure tied to that. That could be kind of cool. It also says that it'll introduce a variety of D&D monsters, items, and NPCs. Well, the NPCs will probably obviously be tied to the adventures and also Candlekeep, but it looks like very exciting. We're going to get some new official monsters in this book, as well as new items, whether mundane or magic, which is also very exciting. So as per usual, once again, I'll say if you like what I do here, consider subscribing to the channel, because as I typically do, once this book launches on March 16th, I will do my standard coverage that I do of these, primarily covering the new things that are of interest to all of us as DMs and players, like the monsters and the items, but with a high-level overview of the different adventures as well. I'm not going to go through every 17 different adventures, but I'll touch on them and probably read through them and tell you which ones I like, which one I don't like, things like that. So anyway, maybe there'll be a follow-up video to this once we get the official launch from Wizards of the Coast, probably later this morning. But for now, I wanted to give you the information that Amazon provided to us. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.